Can't get it down, Joe?
Let's get it back up, the issue. She'll buff later.
Okay.
We'll have to jimmy around with it. I don't know what changed. It's like off track.
And welcome back to Janky AF. Now here we have a wonderful 1987 Chevrolet GMC CK Series Custom Deluxe. Now this car doesn't go very far over 40 miles an hour, probably tops. It's rusting out everywhere. You need a block of wood to shut the door. The window just broke, the dashboard's cracked, the seats are torn up. And it hasn't been inspected or registered since 1988. So why then is it a great car? Well, for one very simple reason. We're on an island. Janky do thanky.
Hey.
A quick word on the history of this truck. The Chevy CK series, according to Wikipedia, ran from 1960 until 2002, with the third generation running from 1973 until 1991. However, around 1987, it started also being referred to as the R/V series, making this particular 1987 model fairly confusing to give an exact name to. But we're just going to stick to C/K for now, and while we're at it, those letters simply refer to whether the car was two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, with C denoting two-wheel drive and K denoting four-wheel drive. Although oddly enough, GMC branded trucks did not use the C nomenclature, but still did use K for four-wheel drive. And while this truck features a Chevrolet logo on the grille, it also sports a nice GMC steering wheel, making things cloudier still. Finally, because they were manufactured for almost a half century in one form or another, there are of course a myriad of different engines and transmissions that went into them over the years. Assuming this is indeed a Chevy, and given the 20 badge it sports along with its apparent two-wheel drive setup, we can probably most accurately call it a 1987 Chevrolet C20. But after all this, I still just want to call it what it calls itself on its beautiful patinaed logo with moss starting to grow on it. The Custom Deluxe. All right, welcome back to Janky AF. Here is our beautiful GMC Chevrolet Custom truck. That is our island car that hopefully we've already introduced you a little bit to, and we're going to start it up here, see how she goes. If we can get the right key. Maybe? Oh, there we go. All right. Buckle up! Oh. Roars to life. Great power steering pump racket. Now, the first thing you're going to realize, there's no lever on your indicator stalk, so you have to kind of guess which gear you're in. I have a peanut gallery behind me who's gonna, I'm sure, tell me how I'm driving. Power steering pump is, so we're in reverse, so it should be 2 to drive. Kind of got to keep track of where you are. Power steering's nice when it engages. And we got Buddy in the car with us. Now the interior for this thing is obviously kind of beat to hell, but there's elements, the lower interior is absolutely pristine, so you can see what this would have originally looked like. I believe this was only a couple years old when it was taken to the island, and you know, for better or worse, it's become an island truck. I definitely think for better. But you have, you know, just it's really a overwhelming sense overload, and you know, candy for the eyeballs. All the vintage gauges, deep set in their sockets, are beautiful. We have a gas gauge that of course doesn't work, and it's sort of a pen and paper operation to keep track of your gas. Now, gas on the island is usually pretty plentiful, but right now, the last 3 days, they said it was coming tomorrow, so we actually don't know if we'll be able to have gas tomorrow. So that's where we're taking it for a ride today. Gonna go on down to the river. First impressions, oh, is this Bill? We got Bill, our local friendly guy, helping us with our pilot lights. Now, of course, the standard action is you wave to everybody on the island. I mean, that's step number one. Foster some, you know, solidarity, community, and all that. And it's a lovely island with not too many people on it. Now, it's got plenty of pick up and go, but that's not really the game. This is what I love about island vehicles, is that there's no registration, there's no inspection. So your qualifications for the vehicle are, can it achieve 15 miles per hour consistently, and can it stop without going into a ditch from a speed of 15 miles an hour? Now, this one's got some squeaks and some rattles, particularly on braking. But I just can't say how much I love this category of vehicle. It completely plays into the janky ethos. I mean, you almost want something that's janky. You don't want something that's too new, because it's going to get left out in the weather. It's just not going to get driven a lot, which means that, you know, things could go wrong with it. But usually things won't go wrong to a point that the vehicle won't be able to perform its minimum duties. Big honking steering wheel here, just a very large steering wheel. And I love this because it says GMC on it, of course, and it says Chevy in the front. And at the time, they were probably like, if you got the part, slap it on, throw it on. You know, there wasn't this brand distinction between GMC and Chevrolet like there is now, and the tiers and the hierarchy and all that. It was just slap a wheel on there and let's go. I don't know if the radio works. Do you know if the radio works?
I don't think it does.
The radio appears not to be working, which is fine. Why would you need a radio? You got, you know, 6 friends in the back and 4 dogs and 1 in the front and another dog, and that's about all you need. Now, we're getting some speed here. The speedometer does work. We're at 27,519 miles. Now, I'm not sure if that's rolled over or not. Crank windows, obviously. Now, both of the doors may or may not open at kind of any time, so you have to be aware of that. It's got a great block of wood, which I'll show you here, that acts as sort of a, you know, door pull. I'm going to the left, that's right. Right is town. Learning my roads here on this beautiful island. And the gas is sort of, it is kind of binary, where it's very, very mushy, and all of a sudden when you hit that cutoff, kind of like the bite on a clutch pedal, all of a sudden you're going. So I didn't get a wave from that gentleman there. I don't know. Just a beautiful color, a beautiful patina, just the right amount of rust, just the right amount of things kind of falling off and going wrong with it. And yet, when you're cruising around the island, you wouldn't want anything that is technically better. This is exactly what you want. It's the ideal candidate. Not in spite of its jankiness, but because of its jankiness. So that's one reason I absolutely love island cars. There's been a lot of great cars. Maybe I'll get some pictures. Been a great old Dodge Caravan that's got the Woody package on it. An old Land Rover Defender. Some great Jeep Cherokees and also Jeep Comanche trucks. A lot of beautiful island vehicles. I would love to see an Aerostar on this island. As you can hear the engine chug there, and it's got to do a little bit of work. I mean, we're going 20 right now. We're practically flying. And there's a lot of great big old other machinery on our route here. But just a fantastic vehicle to just cruise in, you know? You're not going fast. What's the rush? You're going to recreate somewhere. There's an actual car in a dumpster, which is interesting. I've never seen that before. Just take it out with the trash, I guess. But, you know, the only time constraint you have is when you're hungry and you want to go back to dinner, you know, and that's when you're going to go back to the house and everybody pitches in, cooks a dinner, you sit down, you have a great dinner, and, you know, the truck sits outside satisfied that it's performed its duty. No one's asking it to tow a boat or, you know, drive 80 miles an hour on the highway, which is another great particular reason why older cars are so great for island cars, because they may have like sort of outlived their service as a modern car and the tasks that modern cars are asked to do, especially nowadays when, you know, you got to drive 85 miles an hour for 40 minutes on a commute, and it's got to be able to stop on a dime and still get 35 miles a gallon. You know, this thing is, and the brakes work. The brakes also work. We've been getting a lot of squeaking in the brakes, but right now it seems to be doing good. Maybe it's only on sort of downhill ascents. And these bicycle onlookers here are probably wondering what the heck we're doing with these GoPros, but you know, maybe they'll tune into Janky AF and see this fine review of this great island vehicle. Now here's a great downhill ascent. The wheel is cockeyed by about 20 degrees maybe, going towards 25. I'm sure your steering's not, you know, lined up or accurate. Sometimes it kind of feels like your two front wheels are pointing in opposite directions, so it never knows quite how to go in a straight line. And then the back and the front feel very, very disconnected from each other. But the steering's nice and easy. When you're not stopped, when you got even a little bit of momentum, that power steering kicks right in, and it's you know, one finger driving. It's like an old Cadillac or something. It's really fun. Again, just a perfect island vehicle. The patina, the two-tone color scheme. And it's a truck, so like, you know, this used to have a tailgate on it, and they were just driving one day and the tailgate just decided to stay behind, not go for the ride, just fell right off, which was a little scary because people used to regularly sit on that tailgate. But now in place of it, they have a nice rope, and you know, it'll hold what it needs to hold, and if you got to climb over it or climb under it, that's fine. I was thinking about trying to see if I could track down one of those great sort of rubberized mesh tailgates. We see a beautiful little Ford Bronco there, and you got the local kids out on a bike ride. You know, you're not going to be going around corners hitting apexes in this thing and trying to set lap times on the Nürburgring, but I think we've gotten too obsessive with this data and these you know, best of, best in class, best this, best that. Like, we should just appreciate what it is to take a nice drive through the country, and there's no car that captures that essence better than, I think, an island car.
One of the cousins has the tailgate on his mantle.
Okay, so
fireplace. It's getting a nice second life.
And yeah, there you go. So a third life, maybe even. The tailgate. Yep, the tailgate still lives on. And things like this, you sort of just appreciate them for what they are. A lot of pulling in opposite directions here. You kind of, but it still tracks decent, you know. There, buddy. Throw a couple of dogs in there. Throw a couple of people in the back. They're taking a nice little ride. We're taking a nice little ride. No one's in a rush. We even got a duck in there or a gull here in the road.
Wow, look at that.
Oh, beautiful.
Unreal.
You know, see, if you were going 30 miles an hour, you wouldn't get to just sit behind that gull and watch it, you know, go to the bathroom all over the place. But we get to enjoy that here on Janky AF with this beautiful Chevrolet Custom Deluxe. Oh, getting some stones kicking up now. The dashboard, as you can see, is, you know, pretty much cracked and withered away. I have no idea if the heating system works or not. No idea if the wipers work or not. But even if the wipers don't work, you know, you're going, let's see if they work here, if they come on. Oh, look at that. We got wipers. So that's about as fast as the wipers on my Fiat go. And, you know, again, if you got rain, you're probably not going anywhere anyways, and if you get caught in the rain, well, that's enough to sort of push it to the side while you do your 15 miles an hour and get home to safety. get home to a warm fire and a good book and all that. Yeah, I mean, this engine is basically just idling right now, and we're at 20 miles an hour. I don't know if I don't see a tachometer as this giant wheel gets in the way of my view, but
We love just the utility of it, bringing a big group to the pond.
well, that's
That's
the key word, and that's why you do want, the key word here is utility, and that's why I think you do probably want a van or a truck. You see a lot of Jeeps, a lot of some old Subaru station wagons. You see we have Honda Pilot, but this truck with the bed is so convenient. I mean, we can fit 9 people and 7 dogs on one ride, and comfortably, at 15 miles an hour, which is the magic number. We'll wave to our friends there. Again, I think a van would be really great because at least you could cover those people up, which you couldn't. But
it
then
does
again,
serve another purpose, right? Though on like work weekends, we use it to haul brush and trees.
oh, absolutely.
Shingles and things
Absolutely.
like that.
Yeah, and this is a full-size truck, so you can fit all sorts. I mean, the payload capacity, too. You can probably fit 2,000 pounds or something in the back, and it probably could tow if you really needed it to tow. It's got some ass behind it. I don't know what the motor is. I'll try to look that up. I haven't done any of my B-roll footage or investigations on this truck. We're doing the drive first just because we didn't want to run on gas. So now you're getting a dirt road test here, and it's a little bumpier. We're doing about 13 miles an hour. But all that being said, with these big, comfy, cushiony seats and these even nice little, sort of lawn furniture pillows that have been laid on top of it, you're not putting on your Preparation H or anything like that. Oh, we got scantily clad women shooting a music video or something. I don't know what that was, but the brakes work. We kind of diverted into the brush for a second. Boy, that was something, huh?
Yeah, more YouTubers in the wild.
Yeah, I feel like we're at Weekend at Bernie's or something. I guess we'll have to do a crossover episode between their channel and our channel. So your little bumps and rattles, your creaks, there's a great bungee cord in the dashboard, which I thought was actually holding the dashboard together at one point, but I think it's just laying there to be used as necessary. I think there is some original literature actually with this truck. We'll take a look in the glove compartment later. Now my steering wheel is pretty accurate actually. We have a great Taz floor mat. And so you take the middle of the road at 15 miles an hour. If something does buzz around the corner, you still got enough agility and stopping power and go power to get out of the way or move out of the way if you need to. There's no airbags. You don't need them. If you're really worried about it, it's, slap a pillow on the dashboard or something like that. Got another truck coming up here now.
Activity on the roads today.
Yeah, it is a busy day on the roads. We'll hear from the peanut gallery after I get out how I did on my drive. I'm sure there'll be some constructive criticism. And here we are coming up upon this beautiful little lake. And the sun's shining. It's a hot day today. We already jumped in the ocean once, and we're fixing to jump in a freshwater lake now that also resides on this island. So, boy, you can't ask for much more than this. And to walk or bike this would be, I don't know, people were doing it.
Oh yeah, it's about 4.5 miles.
Yeah, about 4.5 miles. So that's the perfect range where if you got to get there and go, and you want to sort of go there leisurely, and you don't want to get sort of a workout or even just a nice bike ride, which is also very nice, but sometimes just having anything that's motorized, makes it so much easier and more leisurely, and especially if you got to haul a lot of people and gear. And that's where an island vehicle comes into play. That's where something like this truck, again, not to beat you over the head with it, but its lack of prowess in being an everyday driver in a normal metropolitan or suburban or even country setting is, instead of a weakness, actually a strong point in what the vehicle is. You don't have to worry about inspection. You don't have to worry about registration. All you have to worry about, can we get it started? Can it stop from 15 miles an hour? And can it reach 15 or 20 miles an hour? The brakes are squeaky? Well, that's fine, you know. And that's why I love this very particular niche segment of automobiles, which is the island car. I was on an island in Maine.
We're coming up on the pullover soon.
I was in a different island in Maine, and I'll sort of, spoiler alert here, I don't want to tell you exactly where we are.
Right up there. Keep going further.
But that's when I first kind of found out about the concept of the island car, where there's cars, they live on the island, they stay there, you don't need to register them, you don't need to inspect them. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. You know, it's kind of like the seniors tour in the PGA or something like that, where the level of competition is still very good. Off to the left here.
Left is probably easier.
But, you know, it's just for a sort of vehicles that have gone into their golden years. And unlike a old classic car, which may sit in someone's garage and never really get driven, these island cars actually get driven quite a lot because they're daily drivers in that sort of sense of the word, because they're even though they're making short trips and everything, they're getting used regularly. So in terms of, you know, fluids and all that, they're getting regularly used. So just yet another great strong point to these vehicles. So with dogs are antsy here, we're gonna get out of the car, put it in park. But thanks for coming along on a ride with us, and this is Janky AF. Janky do Thanky.
Low on gas.
Wonderful.
What happened here?
Well, Milo shut the door and he's got a little too much power.
Milo shut the door?
No, I rolled it up.
It was being weird with the roll up.
I rolled it up and then I closed it and it just.
Get it all the way up?
Yeah.
I could not get it yesterday.
Oh boy,
Holy crap.
that's a lot of glass. All right, we gotta get a quick cleanup crew. Well, it's just an island truck.
Blue Bay